it, because you know it's not like, I mean, I just read the research article and that's it. It's like not like I really get deep dive on it and why is the reason, why is this and that and that. So I just pinpoint and stuff like that. But yeah, sleeping too much, sleeping too little, too not enough, that's a huge impact. Also, one thing to maintain, get a good thing, like if you want to, if you are having a situation that you lack motivation, or you know, like you feel like you can't be, you want to be more productive every day, just plainly having complete schedule. Human beings just need schedule. That's just how it is. Even back in old times, the scheduling was there for a reason. It's not like, oh, it's just because, you know, it's to keep people in order. But scheduling was there for a reason. Like, why did people wake up certain time of the day? And then why did they do certain things at a certain time? There's always a reason for that. So we have a long history of this thing happening. But nobody really thought about it. But now with all the things going on, that everything is so hectic, everything is nowadays it's like 24/7. You can see a lot of like issues with the mental issues, because it's caused by that. You know, like we lack of, overall we lack certain kind of like a routines and schedules in our lives. So it's really messing up the brains. Like, you know, bodies are just meant to be a certain kind of a cycle. If you like look animals do behave like they have a very specific kind of like a cycle. But usually, okay, the cycle depends on the sunlight or the daylight. So that's also part of it. So it's a little bit harder the more north you live, this cycle thing. So, but the whole thing, the routine is very important to have. Routine is very, if you want to have a very productive or motivated to do things, the routine is very, very important. And also routine, okay, depends what you also do, because this is also like a scientifically proven that if you are very productive, like artistically way, most of the time the best time for you to be active is like very late at the night. Like your brain level or hormone levels reach a certain point just before sleeping. That's when you get the most productive situations. Although it will drain you the most if you're really pushing it, but that's just a fact. So it's a really, as an artist, there's a reason like where also it's not always about publicity and stuff like that. It's just about also that habit of, you know, creating something, some new music, producing that, and it happens usually very late at night. There's a reason for that. And then also the issues with the mental health for them comes because of that too. It's a really endless cycle on that aspect. But there's a reason why the productivity goes up quite a lot at the very late at the night, even though it should be time for going to sleep. But yeah, but overall, I was saying, yeah, it's important to have a routine. If you have never had a routine, try to have a routine and see what is the difference. You will see day and night with everything. Most of all, I think the biggest thing with the routine is the quality of sleep. Especially if you remove all the bad habits from, you know, just before sleeping. Like, don't take coffee very late at the night. If your caffeine tolerance isn't very high, don't take coffee very late in the night and stuff like that. And then also certain activities, don't do it just before sleeping. Like heavy exercising just before sleeping, also avoid that. Eating heavy just before sleeping. Also, this is the thing. The whole idea of supper. All these eating habits also, like supper, breakfast, those are like things that are very weird. Like most of the times we have a habit of eating breakfast right away when we wake up, even though our bodies aren't really meant like that. Of course, there is the thing that you need to fill up the resources of your body to fill up, because you have slept so long without eating or drinking and anything. But the fact is that you actually, that's the mindset we've been putting, that you have to fill up your body right away with food. But personally, I feel like that is completely wrong thing to do. Like straight up when you wake up, you go first thing you do, breakfast. I think that's very wrong. You need to have like a certain amount of time, like break from that. Because like, let's be honest, like you're in a sleeping mode. Your body is definitely putting itself this kind of like a lower pace mode. So it's conserving energy. So let's say 8 hours of sleep. Energy consumption goes down probably even half. So basically 4 hours of not eating. Even less. Most likely even less. So definitely like sleeping, you have to take a break between sleeping. And also like the same thing they've been saying, like just before sleeping you should have a certain kind of like a space not to eat. But in our country at least, we have a habit of this kind of, you eat the supper and then basically you go straight up sleep. So you eat supper so you can survive the night. That's why I think the whole these obesity things and these kind of things have also become issues. A lot of like different cancers. It's not all about what we eating, but it's also how we eating. That's how I look into it as a big thing. Because I have done the test myself, and I did it so that, you know, like I made it like a blood work. I took all the tests, you know, like cholesterols, all kind of possible long-term insulin levels and all these. So between eating right away after waking up and then eating right away after before sleeping, and then changing it to the fact that you know, like staying maybe 4-5 hours. Most of the time it's like 4 hours before sleeping and after the waking up. If I eat, so like really narrow window of eating, and my blood values went so much better. Like everything was so much better. Blood pressure, everything was better. Even the cholesterol was no issue at all. And otherwise I didn't really change anything. Of course, maybe I eat less too. Because, you know, once you get down the habit or the routine, actually it started to feel like I don't need to even eat all the junk as much. So yeah, it just became a good habit and it's working. But of course, like I said, like when my family went, boom, degen, everything, all the routine down in the trash. Down in the trash. Straight up, just like that. Okay, couple more. Actually, I'm just gonna... I'm here, so I'm just gonna get... Which one was it? I need to get Furious Night. No, actually, I'm not gonna get it now. Because I know I might mess something up. So I'm just waiting 2 more shards to go. Then we're done with this spot. 2 more shards of the night. Wait, shard of the Furious Night. 2 more. Then we are done with this. Then we can make the cups. Then we can check some other grinding spots. Like my goal for this grinding is done. I will see what kind of how much money I will have and what kind of upgrades I'm gonna be able to get. Could be a bunch of upgrades right now. I mean, I already have 10 Urugons waiting. So that's already some DP upgrade, and need to pump it up with Capras. The good stuff. The good stuff. Yeah. But very important routines. There's a reason. Like everything has a reason for a long time. But some of the things nowadays, they're just purely on, you know, people trying to get a lot of money. Like the whole thing of, you know, like think about a country in like the obesity in USA. That's actually very good business for a lot of companies. Pharmaceuticals is getting good money. And then all the food industry is getting good money. And also, what is it called? Burial services are getting good money. Even they are enjoying more. So there's these kind of certain services are just getting a lot of benefit from people being sick. So that's just how it is. That's just how it is. When everything is just so privatized, and everything is looked as a margin. How much is the profit margin on this one? I need to go grab more coffee and stretch my legs a bit. Been sitting actually 3 hours. I've been sitting non-stop here, so need to stretch a bit. This old man is getting stiff. This is also kind of the thing. People get so offended if they've been called that they're old. Honestly, if a young kid comes to me and says like an old uncle or something, I will like, yeah, cool. That's who I am. Because then I can say like, okay, then if you don't show me respect, I can whoop you. I can whoop your ass. If you don't know how to show respect, I can whoop you, no matter the age. I might be 40. If we can't start wrestling, I will broke my hip. But I can still do it. Oh boy. Oh, but let's be honest. Like technically, yeah, we're in a gaming world, almost hitting 40. That is really old age, because I think the vast majority of the played hours, if you like compare, I say like paid hour, played, how many hours somebody plays, and averagely, like, yeah, the most are definitely they're 20 years old, 25 years old. Maybe the amount of players is over 30, I think, maybe, hard to say, but most of those are not playing that much, just very minimal playing. But yeah, being called like old, don't mind. I don't mind. I mean, I'm a father already, kids are growing, there's a lot of things to look into and stuff. And then of course, like every time there's a new celebrity coming, you're like thinking like, who the hell is this one? I have never seen this person. So like like that's the thing. I was like half of the time I was, because I was it's not like I watched very closely Kai Cenat's stream, Sabathon, but every day I was just checking like, okay, who is the guest, like what kind of a main activities they were doing, not going for the details and not really listening everything through. But half of the time when I was looking, I was like wondering, who the hell is this one? There's some artist I have never heard of, and then, you know, stuff like that. And then there's some other people I also like, who is this again? Sometimes I just say like, okay, it must be because of, you know, how it is. Because, you know, I don't live in the USA, and a lot of them are very USA related artists and stuff like that. Maybe they're not globally as known yet, because they're still kind of like new. They just made one massive hit album, and then they kind of like riding on that fame before they make the second album and stuff like that. So, you know, some of the times we were like, who is this? And then maybe there's some other social influencer, you know, like, who is this one? You just don't know. There's just too much happening. And those are the times I started to feel like, man, I'm really old if I don't know. I used to be the one, I knew like actors and actresses and all these kind of like artists and who they are, what have they done. But nowadays, whenever I see some TikTok or YouTube shorts or anything, or some podcast, and there's somebody visiting them, or there's Twitch stream, somebody's visiting them, I'm like, I don't honestly know who is this one. I don't know who is this. And then you're like, yes, that is a sign that you are old. You, my friend, you are old if you don't know. If you don't recognize all the pop culture stuff, you have become the category old. And like I say, I think I mentioned already, like the generational gap is getting shorter and shorter. Like let's say the now new generation is just few years, and then another generation already coming. Like they have already different kind of a mindset, different kind of like a overall fashion sense, the pop culture, all these things are different. Like there is now the, because like there was always the boomers and millenniums and all these, like the age gap, like the range is quite big. But now the new generations, the age range is very small. Like now I think, what, there was the Gen Z. They were the Gen Z, the lost generation or whatever they call them. And now they're Gen A, Gen Alpha or something. I don't even know where they come up with these things. Or who is the one who comes up with them. That's also another one. As always wonder. Okay, I wonder. Like, where does it come from? Like, who comes up with a certain name and then it just becomes crazy popular? Like, where is it coming? Like, even these Gen Z, millenniums. Okay, millenniums is kind of understandable because of the, you know, millennium 2000. But then, of course, like the way it's extended so much doesn't make sense in a way. But the definitions, where they comes and the naming comes, like now Gen Z. Where did the Gen Z come from? I don't know the thing behind it. I have never even bothered to check. Maybe if I start looking, but it just doesn't make. It doesn't sound. The reason, this doesn't sound any reasoning behind it, so that's why I like never really looked into it. Like, where is it coming from? So that's why I just left it like that on its own. On its own stuff. But yeah, that range, generational range, is just getting shorter and shorter. Probably soon it's gonna be just 5 years and the new generation is already out. That's hectic the life has become, and it's becoming, that we don't even know where it starts and where it ends. It's just gonna be like that. That's why it's like very important. Now the thing is, it's very important, and it's kind of sad that right now we need to teach people to calm down. We need to teach people to just shut the brain off. We have to teach people to do that nowadays. Before you didn't need to worry about it, but because now the amount of information and amount of addictive stuff is out there, people don't know how to shut their brain off at all. Like for me, playing games is one easy way to shut things off. Although it is still a stimulant I'm getting playing games. But the other thing I've been doing actually a very long time, and it's a method I learned from my grandfather a long time ago. Because my grandfather, he was a lot of things, but certain things it's still good memories as a child. He always treated me very well, and they always, you know, grandparents always, most of the time they are more kinder to the grandkids than their own kids. So my grandfather had it always, like, I remember always, he started his day off very early in the morning, and he always came to our house. He just there waited outside for us to wake up and everything, and just there smoking cigarettes. He's just there sitting and just looking, doing nothing. And then you know, like at older age, I tried it myself also, because I always wondered, like, what is it, the thing there? But then I was just sitting there and watching, and I have a lot of weight. Yeah, no wonder there's a lot of weight. But this is the sad thing. These are not selling. I think like these are the things I need to sell, like a vendor at this point. They're just not selling. Just doesn't sell. But yeah. So just sitting and watching how people are going past, or just animals and stuff like it is really calming. Like, you really shutting off your brain, and you don't even think about anything, just stare to the emptiness. Although I had a lot of times in my childhood, I had this thing that I was just staring into emptiness. I never paid attention on it until my cousin said it, because I have a same age cousin, and we used to, in high school, we used to be in the some courses we had the same. And until that time, I didn't like pay attention to it, but until she said that that do you know that she like mentioned it out, like, do you know that you stare into emptiness? Or I don't know, it wasn't like that. She was like I think she was saying like she envies how I can just look into emptiness. Like I'm like looking something, but my eyes are clearly like not even looking it. It's like, so that is the time I realized like actually I do that a lot as a child. Or teenager. I was just like staring. I just like my mind just went into my own world. I was just like shutting myself off with everything. And sometimes it was happening so bad that I actually didn't even hear people talking to me until they like poke me. And like, oh, and just snap out of it. But I tell you, those are the times I was like the most calmest in my life. I was like, it was like revolution how peaceful it was. And I think that's a habit that not many people have nowadays. The way everything is happening, because even if I'm always like, I don't like to stress about a lot of things. Like even going to work, I actually, if I have a schedule that I have to be at work, let's say like it's a certain kind of a job that you have, like a factory or production line that you have to be exactly at the workstation by 8, stuff like that. If it's like that kind of stuff, like construction work used to be like that, something like that, you have to be exactly certain time, because then you know some delivery is going to happen, and if you're not there in time, it's just going to waste time, money, and everything. So basically those jobs I always came so much earlier. I actually came so early that I made sure that if I came so early, I had to, you know, like if something happened during the travel to the work, like let's say maybe car breaks down and everything, I still have like a 15-20 minutes time to figure it out how I'm gonna get it to work or something. Or there may be like, let's say if I'm using public means, the bus is late or bus breaks down, when is the next bus coming? They have enough time. I don't need to stress and rush. So I never rush to work. I do not understand people who rush to work. I just cannot understand it. It's because I just don't. Because it's also the thing. I don't snooze when have an alarm. If I have an alarm, it's just one alarm and that's it. I don't add time at all. Or if I have to add time to the sleeping, I mean, like need to sleep more, I do add like 1 hour, 2 hours straight up. Because I know if I wake up in the alarm, if I know like, oh, I definitely need way more sleep than this. But I'm not going to do it like a 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I will never do that. Because it doesn't work. It doesn't do any good. I know it back of my head. It doesn't do any good. So this also gives me the situation that I do always have enough time to go to work. I don't need to rush. If I see a bus when I'm going to work, if I see bus that, okay, actually the bus is ahead of time, or I'm late at the bus stop, I'm like, you know what? Let the bus go. The next one will come after 5 minutes. So I never run to the bus stop. I never run in a bus stop or train stop or anything. I never run because I just don't feel like I want to start my day rushing. Because I think like if I start my day off rushing, I will rush the whole day, and well, I never. Anyway, if you rush things, you just pee everywhere. That's what we say. Juosten kustu, which is like run while peeing. So basically, but that's like the direct translation. But like what with the English? I don't think the English has anything like close to that. So rushing and messing up the same time. You rush and mess up. I don't know if there's anything like saying English saying on that part. Fucked up by rushing. No. I don't think there is anything that correlates with that one. Correlates. So yeah. But anyway, like that's the thing. Like basically it's like when you start a day off rushing, you will rush the whole day and you mess up everything you're gonna do. Nothing's gonna be achieved right way. Everything's gonna just go down in the drainage. So yeah, that's the craziness about it. So that's why I don't, and I would always advise people not to even rush. If you need time, if you need a lot of, like tolerance, when you go to work and stuff like that, then leave 10 minutes earlier to work. Because trust me, even the work day is gonna be much more easier if you're not rushing to work. Because I just don't understand those, you know, like the best thing is that like the funniest thing and the stupidest thing, I always think like these people who drive a car and they try to like squeeze in every small hole they can find, and then they're doing all that kind of a crazy racing and everything, and then I always meet them at the lights. I always meet the same people at the lights. You know, they drive fast and passing everybody and doing a lot of dangers like overtaking and everything, and then the next lights, I'm just behind them. Always. I'm just always behind them. So it doesn't make sense. They get this feeling that they're rushing and they're faster, but they're never faster. So it's just a plain stupidity. Ignorance. Idiotic. They're just plainly stupid people who just rush like that. There's just nothing you're gaining out of it. Okay, maybe you gain something for your ego, that you can drive like a rally driver on public road. That's what we actually have saying here. If you're driving like that, you are like you want to be like a wannabe rally driver or race driver, but you cannot because you don't have talents for it. So you're trying to boost your ego with normal people driving with the limits. Because most of the people who start driving, racing with you there, you would lose. That's just how it is. Most of the people think they have a skill sets which they don't really have. It's just like a lot of weird things doing that people just should. I don't know. A lot of things in this life, it just annoys me. If I really, really sit down and start reflecting them and thinking about them, I was like, man, there's just so many idiotics in this country and this world. There's just a lot of stupidity going on. Focusing on very nonsense stuff. Just why don't you just enjoy your life and relax, take it easy. If you don't like your job, get another job. Or if you just don't like your job, do something about it. Simple. But people know. People instead, they complain. So, yeah. Road rage, that's always the crazy. That's the thing I also never have understood. I see once in a while I see these like road rage videos on TikTok and everything on social media. Sometimes I also feel like I'm looking at them, I'm like wondering like, is this really happening? Or this is just some sort of setup? Because there is no way somebody is so idiotic, so imbecile, that they are starting kind of like a beef over some small thing on the road. Like cutting somebody off and something like what is going through their head? I know, like, okay, yeah, I do understand some people might have a bad day, but come on. Like, throw some balls or something, man. It's like people who never have used to disappointments, basically. And they got this kind of like a meltdown, stuff like that. They're like on the same level. But instead of that, they do some crazy stuff on the road. But that's why I say, like, I cannot believe there's so much stupidity out there that it is a real thing and not just a setup. For some reason, I always think like, this thing has to be like a setup. It can't be real. It cannot be a real thing. Because it's just... Sometimes I just don't believe there can be idiotic people. But there is. Unfortunately, that's a reality. There is people who just don't have anything running. Like, they don't stop and think. They just do things. Mistakes happen, yes. But some things are really not just mistakes. It's not like mistakenly, like go in front of somebody's car and then you just do emergency braking out of nothing and then make them stop. And then you get out of the car and you start shouting to somebody on the window outside. Inside the car. Like doesn't make sense. And the fact is that they come and start shouting and everything and the windows are up and like people inside are like, what are you? Can't hear. I can't hear you. Like the thought process is, I know you like really, like elevated situation, like you're really going nuts and everything that you really don't process anything, but still. I might finish the merchant ring if I keep farming crypts. Ooh, getting close, eh? Getting close. I believe. I believe. You have to be. You just believe, and it will happen. You have to believe in it. Then it will happen. It's gonna happen today. It's gonna happen today. That's why I'm very sure of it. 3 pieces out of 5. Yeah, it's gonna happen today. You're gonna get a lucky streak. You're gonna get it like a straight in a row. Basically, same mob is gonna drop you 2. That's how it's gonna go. The same monster is gonna drop 2. You're gonna have like a crazy stroke of luck. Although people will tell like I have a bad thing of jinxing. Every time I do something regarding streaming, I jinx it. Like every time I was doing the PUBG casting, I always jinxed the winning team. Even though the odds were so with them, I just jinxed it and they lost everything. like come on. I didn't even know it drops. Found out last week when I got the first piece. Yeah, that's always the best actually. That you just even don't. You're not even like really thinking about it, and then boom, it just comes